I want to start off today just by a very simple thank you to everybody who's turned up at any of the events I've appeared at, for people who have very kindly donated money to the cause, and those people who, of course, email in such numbers. And unfortunately, I just do not find the time to be able to answer everybody and thank everybody as I feel duty bound to do. So please take this as a big thank you if you're any of those people who have supported me in any way. The other thing I just want to say, and I repeat this from time to time, if anybody is wishing me to turn up at an event or would like someone to speak, I'm very interested in being able to turn up and speak at events, because I think when you're on YouTube or any of these other platforms that sometimes my videos appear on, it's very easy to sort of just be one of a multitude of speakers. And yet if you turn up and you're actually there, viscerally there, that people can talk to you before or after the show, they can poke you and touch you and know that you're real and genuine, I think that's so very important. Of course, travelling abroad is very difficult for me. I don't actually have a passport, but I'm trying to keep myself out of the system as much as I can. You know, their system, the government's kind of benevolent system of keeping you down. I'm trying to find those ways to keep my legal fiction down to its limited use as much as possible. But if it's in the UK and I'm able to get there, then I'm more than happy to do that. So that out the way, one of the things that I was talking to Eli Everyman yesterday in an interview that I did, and I know that not everybody catches all the videos or indeed all the interviews, and some things don't always appeal. But one of the things that we were talking about was about, of course, this business of raising our consciousness and understanding that we can indeed manifest our reality. And now this seems to be coming more and more obvious as people start to see the scientific data of quantum theory. And there are people like Dr. Bruce Lipton, who has talked about this in great detail, and many others, of actually saying that thoughts, those thoughts we have in our head, are starting to, well, they create the reality we have. And a lot of people, of course, are creating a reality is not what they find very useful. We're often, by this current state, in a situation of fear, and we worry about things that might happen. And in fact, by worrying about those things, we in fact cause them to happen. Now, a lot of people will be skeptical about this, but their life probably is reflecting the things that they most think about. And those things might be the lack of money, or the lack of ability to change the circumstances that you're in, or that you've got certain court cases or worries with health and things like that. And I think that actually we should try, and I know it's difficult, to turn that round on its head. You see, to me, it seems that this cabal of dark forces have ensured that this information, this very simple information, that our thoughts can actually change our circumstances, that can make things positive for us and beneficial for us if we think in that way. I think these dark forces have tried to keep us down and the vibrations down so that we are skeptical, so that we don't fully understand how it works. I don't understand, you see, how people who can have such dark forces or dark thoughts, or can want to keep people down, for example, can attract to themselves money beyond the realms of most of us would possibly dream of, billions and billions of pounds, even if they are fraudulently getting that money, or they are somehow getting that money in nefarious means. I don't understand how those people can hang on to it. But to me, it must come down to the fact that they do believe in what they're doing, whether they whether this is for good or evil, that they know that they can use, I suppose, the force of the universe, if you like, or the science of the universe, or the power of attraction to bring the money to them and build up their wealth. And because of that, and once they realize that that is working, of course, they continue to believe in it. Whereas you and I, perhaps at a much lower level, we only need to have something go wrong in our lives and a dirty, great big bill, and we can go, oh, blimey, how am I going to pay that? I'm never going to be able to. And soon our thoughts are going into that negative spiral, which keeps us down. So I feel that, though, this is a moment in history in which science is starting to prove what people were talking about thousands of years ago through meditation. And then we saw a resurgence. I know this from my childhood in the 40s and 50s when books were being produced. And Eli was mentioning in the show a book called Feeling is the Secret by Neville Goddard. But there are many others. I have a number on my shelf that I read when I was a child. One was, funnily enough, a book called Bring Out the Magic in Your Mind by Al Quran. Actually, it wasn't written by him. It was ghostwritten by somebody who understood the esoteric world and the power of belief. And then, of course, there's The Master Key, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and various other books that I've got. Books that were coming out telling you these things. And I tried in my youth to practice these things, but of course I was quite skeptical. I was brought up in a world where the material side of things was very much abundant and obvious, and the more esoteric, the more power of belief, the more the mind and the understanding that what we have in the world, the reality that we see is not quite as we really perceive it, was very different. And so those negative aspects were forced down upon me. Now, through this journey that I've been doing over the last 10 months, very close, actually, probably 11 months, to be honest with you, very close to a year since the day I put that first video up in which I asked if Neil Oliver was right, and I was sitting here on my seat for the first time, nearly a year. In that journey, I've met so many amazing people, and I have understood some of the truths of the universe in a much more deeper and realistic way. And now I know that actually the power of thought is one of the most powerful things that we can use to our benefit, and that using the power of thought we can turn the world the correct way round and live an abundant and healthy life. And it is down to how we think. We are being distracted constantly, and I mentioned this in my video I put out yesterday in which I was saying fear porn is everywhere. We're being distracted by wars and troubles and negativity all the time, and the idea of that is to keep us fearful, to keep us low, to keep us worrying. And this is why it's so important to throw away your television, in which the powers that be, or the powers that wish to continue, are programming us. We don't need those programs anymore. We need to take back control, take back the responsibility, stand up for ourselves and stand up for our rights and our lives, and realize that our minds, the us, the essential us, is creating the universe around us, and that we don't need to be hypnotized or influenced by these outside sources, these negative influences, this cabal, if you like, or the Luciferians, or even the bankers who want to control us with their debt-based money. No, we actually have the power ourselves to turn this all around, if only we realized it and accepted it. Now, it's very hard to shake off years and years of negative thinking or one way of thinking. But slowly there is this ascension. Slowly people are beginning to realize that the power is theirs, that this dead corporate world that we live in is no longer what we need to have. This fictional character, the dead character of us, written in capitals, that we think that we are part of and exist into, is over. That we are waking up to our sovereign beings, that our thoughts can bring good, love and abundance to not only us, but to our friends and family and to the rest of the world, that we can look after our health and be healthy. This is how we're supposed to be. And we have been infiltrated by these negative ideas and these negative thoughts to keep us down. And now we see these monsters, they're thrashing about as if their head has been cut off, and they're throwing everything at us with these control mechanisms that we've seen, the digital IDs and the CBDCs and the 15-minute cities, and the worry that man is destroying his planet with CO2 emissions and all of that. All of this is complete nonsense and bunkum, and we don't have to believe it, and we don't have to accept it. We are incredible, unique beings, and we have the power in ourselves to turn this round, to have amazing lives, amazing experiences. We are effectively unnamed spirits inhabiting and enjoying a physical life on this planet, in this realm, with flesh and blood. We're not a dead entity with a capitalized name as part of a corporate industry of which we feel that we are shackled and having to pay for all these things. We're not that at all. We can change our thinking, and we can live an incredible and successful life, and we can push away all the nonsense that these people who wish to control us are throwing at us. And in fact, the more of us that do this, we have huge power in a sort of large number of people thinking the same. And so these thought powers, I know it sounds mad if you're looking at this for the very first time, but the power of thought is actually the most powerful thing in the universe, and we have it, and that's what we need to start using.